welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, EDNA's special initiative that celebrates the undying entrepreneurial spirit of micro, small and medium enterprises. On the show today, we are in an exclusive conversation with HCL. On the show today, I have with me Ajay Chaudhary, founder of HCL Technologies. Mr. Chaudhary, such a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for taking the time out. Let me kickstart this conversation by talking to you about what several IT companies tell us they're doing. They say and tell us how critical it really is for companies to encourage employees to think like entrepreneurs and in fact work on ideas within the space of their organizations, even if those are not directly in line with what the company does as its core business. Your views on that?
No, I think it's a very good idea because basically if you want to encourage innovation, and innovation and entrepreneurship are very closely linked. So if any employee is very much interested in giving new ideas and creating a new business, it should be encouraged, because fundamentally what it will do for the company is that it will bring a business idea which it has not thought of before.
But how critical is it, in your opinion, for companies like yourself to encourage innovation in the ecosystem, not just amongst its employees? Why are we not seeing more companies doing this?
Well, actually, it's happening quite a bit in the industry, because today all the various IT companies have set up their internal intranets, and they've also set up their internal social media programs, by which there is a deep connect between the employee and the management. And all the employees are encouraged to bring in new innovative ideas to the company. So this is something that is quite deeply happening today, and I think more and more of this will happen, because unless you actually involve your employees deeply, you are not going to be successful in encouraging them to stay with you and grow with you.
We talk a lot about mentoring here on the show, Mr. Chaudhary, and I want to ask you, how critical, in your opinion, is mentoring as far as entrepreneurs and MSMEs and startups go?
Well, I think mentoring is something which is quite critical. If you really want to scale up your business, a good mentor can be of great value. For example, if you look at a mentor who wants to come in and help you look at how you want to take your products to market. For example, you may have a great product, but you don't know how to take it to market. That's where a mentor will come in and help you to understand how to take it to market.
Then if I can ask you to give us one piece of advice for our entrepreneurs watching this show about finding a mentor. How crucial, in your opinion, is that going to be?
Well, mentors are people who have actually done things before. And if you can spot people who have actually done some work in your own segment or your own vertical, I think that's where it will be very interesting to bring somebody in who has actually been an entrepreneur himself and has done it before. So those are the ideal mentors for you.
I was asking you about one piece of advice in terms of entrepreneurship and mentoring, but if you had one piece of advice that you could give our viewers, what would that be?
Passion. I would always suggest that there should be a deeply passionate company that you should create around you, because that is what will take you forward.
Let's talk about technology and the use of technology in companies, Mr. Chaudhary. How do you see companies changing as India changes and therefore adapting more possibly to technology?
Well, adoption of technology has dramatically changed, because one of the key things that has happened is that the customer has become more savvy. And as the customer has become more savvy, you have to have solutions which are keeping up with what their requirements are. And therefore, all IT companies today are using more and more of newer technologies to bring about solutions for the customers. And in addition, there is a lot of automation also happening in the IT industry, because that is the requirement of the customer, that you must reduce your costs while delivering value at the same time.
Are MSMEs, in your opinion, though, using technology more aggressively now than previously? Have you started seeing that happening, and therefore the need and the understanding of technology within their organizations?
Well, MSMEs have in the past been a little wary of technology, but I think now the new CEOs of various SMEs are starting to look at technology very deeply. And as I said, the customer has become more savvy. So they, for example, if you look at how to take products to market, they are also now starting to look at how to utilize mobile, how to utilize social media, how to utilize newer ways of getting to the market. So that is something that is starting to happen now. It's still early days, but that is what I believe will take them forward.
The government, of course, is going all out to talk about Digital India. In your opinion, how do you think companies can participate more as far as the government's Digital India initiative is concerned?
Yes, at the moment I see that happening more and more, but this is something that they need to definitely look at more deeply, whether it is technology for manufacturing or whether it is technology for going to market. The tech industry, basically the electronics part of the tech industry, can participate deeply in Make in India, because various incentives have been provided and various strategies have been created for helping for helping get you more business within zones, etc. So what's happening is that especially for the electronics area, there have been newer strategies that have been created and newer incentives are available for you to set up and start manufacturing in India. And there are, in addition, there are many other ways of utilizing Make in India, because under the electronics area especially, there is a fund of funds also that's been created so that you can design in India and manufacture in India, and therefore add more value in the country.
We started this conversation on Digital India by asking you about your advice in terms of encouraging companies to participate more. I want to reiterate that one piece of advice you would have for MSMEs who are looking at such government programs and how they can participate more.
Well, Digital India is basically a very large program which is actually helping bring the whole country into a digital age. And inside that is sitting a large amount of business which the government will be giving out to various companies. And this is really where the opportunity lies for various SME IT companies to actually participate in developing and creating software products for Digital India. I think it's still early days. It is something that is happening and will happen more and more. But I think in the next 1 to 2 years, you should see a much deeper penetration and impact of Digital India in the country. As I said, small companies, if you want to participate in the government business, in the new Startup India program, they have now made it easier for smaller companies to participate. So there used to be certain preconditions that were there in government business earlier, which have now been removed under the Startup India program. So that is where the SMEs can actually start to look at participating in government business.
From your experience, can you help us understand, if you've studied MSMEs in India closely, how do we compare with our Asian peers when it comes to the use of technology as well as understanding technology?
I would say we are still behind, because if you look at the manufacturing SMEs in Singapore or Hong Kong or any other places, the use of technology is much higher. So I think we need to come up to speed on that. And a great place to start is utilizing IT inside your company so that you can make sure that you become a lot more efficient.
So one part of technology, of course, is understanding it and using it in your business. The other part is the business opportunity that it presents for MSMEs and SMEs. Your thoughts on how the industry can possibly work closely with MSMEs to ensure that these products and solutions are then getting used?
Yes, that's a very good area for SMEs to be able to participate with large IT companies. For example, if you look at large government bids that are there, in these large government bids, most of the SMEs do not qualify for bidding, and even if they qualify, they will find it very tough to sell to government, especially because of the very long periods of payment. So this is where SMEs can actually come in and provide solutions which the large companies don't have, and they can integrate that into their complete solution, which they then provide to the government. For example, within HCL also, we actually created relationships with two SMEs from tier 2 cities, and both these SMEs actually had software products which we would then integrate into our whole solution and sold it to the government, and many contracts came in as a result of that.
I want to talk to you about talent retention and hiring at a time when most MSMEs and entrepreneurs tell us that a lot of their people who join them leave to join, what is seen as more exciting roles or more money at e-commerce players and the larger players is what I'm talking about. What advice would you have for our MSME viewers in terms of how they can possibly match those roles to ensure that the retention levels go up?
Well, actually, it's all a question of culture, and it depends on what kind of culture you've created in your company. And if you create a culture where there is shared vision between the employees and the management, then you can hold your employees more easily than otherwise, because otherwise you have no way to emotionally connect with your employees. So emotional connect is very important. And secondly, you can also start to use tools that are available. For example, employee stock options is a very good tool to use to retain employees.
So in your book, what would an effective retention strategy look like?
Well, actually, as I said earlier, it is the only way you can actually differentiate yourself from others is to create a very aspiring culture. And I think that is what matters when you want to work with employees and encourage them to work deeply with you. And if they are passionately involved in the business and the shared values of the business, I think that is what will create the difference.
On the show today, I have with me Ajay Chaudhary, founder of HCL Technologies. Mr. Chaudhary, you'll probably be very familiar with the survey that was done by NASSCOM a few years ago, where they said that the employable standards of those students who are coming into the industry is only around 20 to 25% for the IT industry. How much of a concern is that right now? Where are we at in terms of the industry employable standards?
It is definitely an issue, and I think the only way to fix this issue is when various educational institutions start to work more closely with the industry, and they must understand the industry requirements. They can easily talk to many of these companies and who will advise them as to what kind of training programs they put together for them when the employees join them, and what is this 6-month or 9-month period where employees are being trained after coming from institutions where they've actually been taught how to use IT and to work in IT. So the answer lies in deeper involvement with corporates and who actually are larger employers, and they will give them guidance on what to add into the curriculum so that lesser and lesser training can be provided.
Talking of training, individual training course undertaken by individual companies is not something that a lot of MSMEs can take on. Your suggestion then on how to tackle those costs and at the same time ensure that the employable standards of employees increases?
Well, actually, there is no option to training, and despite the fact that you are an SME, you need to look at how to skill your employees to the best level possible, because there are now a lot of newer ways of skilling, because lots of skilling organizations have come up all over the country, and as part of Skill India, there is an opportunity for SMEs to actually utilize training centers which have been set up all over the country for different areas. And for example, if you are in the business of repairing of mobiles, there are training centers that are there now which teach you how to repair a mobile or how to repair a technology product. So you will be able to get easily lower cost training from any of these Skill India program deliverers.
At this point, I'd like you to talk to our viewers about your own journey as an entrepreneur and the highlights really of that journey.
Well, basically the business was started by 6 of us in 1976, and we started out with just 1.8 lakh rupees. And basically what we had in mind was to create a computer. And at that stage, there was hardly any manufacturing of computers going on in the country. And there were just 100 computers in the country. So there was a very large opportunity. And that's the large opportunity that we went after. So those days were the days of inspector, those were the days when you needed licenses to manufacture a computer. And therefore what we did was, to overcome that, we formed a joint sector company with UP government, and as a result of that we were able to start our own manufacturing and design company for making computers in the country. So that's how we started, and from there we scaled up, and later on we got into the software business also and the training business. And as a result of all of this that happened during that period, we grew from 6 people to today there's 110,000 employees, and the revenue of the company is $7 billion.
What have been some of your biggest challenges and learnings, Mr. Chaudhary, and advice from your experience for our viewers?
Well, actually, most times entrepreneurs think that they don't have resources and therefore they cannot achieve anything. But what is more important is not just resources, what is more important is aspiration. And if you have aspirations, resources automatically happen, and that's been something that we learned while through our journey also. We never had any resources. After all, we started with just 1.8 lakh rupees, and without having the resources we created a company. So that is where the answer lies. Dr. C.K. Prahalad used to call it A is greater than R, where aspiration is greater than resources, and if aspiration is there, resources happen on their own.
Now, in an age of social media and the possibility of using it for marketing and branding purposes and building a brand for yourself online, what suggestions would you have for our viewers in terms of building a responsible brand online and not just go with the flow and possibly end up making some very grave mistakes online?
Well, actually, as I mentioned earlier, it's the customer that is demanding things today. So your customer is asking you to be on social media. And that's the way to market the products today. Going to market today with old ways of working is not going to work. You need to use social media, you need to use mobile, you need to use cloud, and you need to be able to use these technologies for delivering and getting to market.
We were talking previously about training. I want to talk also about the education system right now in India. Do you think it's geared to promote innovation and entrepreneurship?
Well, actually, innovation and entrepreneurship are very deeply connected, and if you want to see innovation happening within IITs and larger engineering institutes in the country, what needs to be done is to create a complete environment for entrepreneurship. And a complete environment consists of teaching entrepreneurship, creating an incubator, connecting the incubator to angel networks, so that as a student wants to learn about entrepreneurship, he or she can be taught entrepreneurship, he or she can then enter the incubator, and when they are inside the incubator, they are given mentorship both by the institute and by business mentors. And as they emerge out of the incubator, there are angel networks that are available today which can help them get funding so that they can scale up from there.
You just mentioned incubators, Mr. Chaudhary. Now, incubators, of course, are something that are part of the higher education system. What about primary education? Do you think it's at a level in India right now that can possibly help young entrepreneurs?
Oh, yes. Primary also, there is a very clear need to nurture entrepreneurism at an early stage. So, in the primary school area also, even in the 9th, 10th, 12th classes, a bit of introduction to entrepreneurship will be of great value, and you can bring in people who can talk about how they started their company, and that will encourage the students to actually start to look at entrepreneurship as a way of going forward, because it's not just getting jobs, it's also creating jobs that's very important.
A quick last word. You've invested in several startups over the years. Can you give us some details on that, and how important is it for experts and mentors like yourself to really invest in startups?
Well, actually, I have invested in around 25 companies, and mostly I invest based on the team that is there, and it is the team on which I bet for the investment. But of course, the idea has to be also good. And one of the things that's happened is that there are a lot of networks that are available today where you can invest through. So Indian Angel Network is a very large network which I am a member, and therefore what happens there is that a lot of people who are actually looking for funding come to them, and we are then able to see their presentations and select from them a few that we want to invest in. So that's how I have invested in close to 25 companies through the Indian Angel Network.
Ajay Chaudhary, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for taking the time out on the Leaders of Tomorrow. Completely out of time on that note, but do remember that if you have any feedback for us, you can write in at leadersoftomorrow@tanzgroup.com. You can reach us on social media using the hashtag LOT or call us on that number which is on your screen. Thanks for watching.